Hey guys, welcome back. Today we are going to continue our conversation that we are having about defending yourself in civil court. Apparently, a lot of people enjoyed the last video. I got a lot of hits on it, and I have more to say. So we're going to discuss a couple of things tonight. State citizenship affects jurisdiction and how you need to use that in your favor. So before we get started, welcome, Advocates for Justice Foreclosure Defense Paralegal Service. I'm Coach Neighbors, and I'm the one to get to blow the whistle up in here. Here at Advocates for Justice, we're different, and we prove it every day. Today, we're going to talk about a couple of different things. The state citizenship is something that you guys should all consider. Now, there are a couple of ways to achieve this, to verify your state citizenship. Most people fill out the passport process, where you fill out your passport in a certain way to verify that you are a state citizen of the republic state of the state you're born in and not a U.S. citizen. Well, that's the difference. And the reason that's important is because your state citizenship bars you from their statutory jurisdiction unless they have an injured party. If they don't have an injured party, then the court does not have subject matter jurisdiction over you as a state citizen and not a corporation from the federal government. One of the things that you need to do is, in our strategy, we want to force a judge to violate the rules. And as a state citizen, you want to challenge the, of course, jurisdiction based off the fact that the attorneys that are bringing the foreclosure against your property have no witness. They have no witness and no injured party. And as a state citizen, you're not subject to statutory subject matter jurisdiction without an injured party. Now, that's something that I'd want to have on the record for my appeal later, if you want to appeal. Or really, for what we're going to be doing is just building, using the court record as your evidence to sue the judge. Because if the judge violates all of the laws and the rules, throws you under the bus to help the attorneys, then the judge is going to be liable because the judge doesn't have jurisdiction to do all that stuff. And the judge does not have immunity. If you watch the last video, we went over that. The judge's immunity, qualified immunity, doesn't qualify when they step outside the law and start violating your rights. That's how we work with that. Our strategy is to force the judge to violate the rules, helping the attorneys. And we have a couple of ways of doing that. And one of the main ways we do that is when you add the attorney to your lawsuit as the number one defendant and the law firm as second, that you file in federal court addressing the fraud that they're doing on the state court level, then now the attorney has a problem. And the attorney cannot represent themselves. They can't litigate a case they're a party to, and they cannot represent the law firm that they're affiliated with. It's considered pro se representation. And as a corporation, you're considered a fictitious entity. You have to have an attorney with you when you go to court. And that becomes a problem when you add the attorneys to your lawsuit as the number one defendant, because the attorneys have to go out and hire other attorneys to represent them. And when the other attorneys find out that you're going after this attorney that filed a foreclosure against your property for wrongful foreclosure and breach contract, because the attorney is acting as a third-party debt collector and not working on behalf of the lender, that's a problem. And most of the other attorneys ain't trying to get in the middle of that. And the reason why is because they're doing the same crap. So now the attorney's in a jam because they can't go into court and represent the law firm or themselves. So the judge has to allow them to go into court and represent the law firm or themselves, or the judge is going to have to give back his cut of the money or her cut of the money. Yeah. So now you got a nice little thing to hang your appeal on and to set yourself up to sue the judge for violating your rights, because the rules clearly state that you cannot go into court as a corporation and represent your corporation, nor can the attorney represent themselves. So that's and that's why it's so important not to change the jurisdictional challenge with an affidavit, because the jurisdictional challenge with an affidavit is designed to back the attorneys up in the corner. And we're finding out now that the judge is helping the attorneys. And now it just gives us a nice case to move against the judge for helping the attorneys and give them an unfair advantage. And the problem that they have with the jurisdictional challenge with an affidavit is that they can't respond by counter affidavit because everything they're doing is fraud. And this is why you always want to stick with the jurisdiction when you're in their court challenging anything, really, because the whole thing is fraud that they're saying you did, and their system is set up off of fraud. So if you go and arguing the fraud, you're still going to be standing in the stinky fraud at the end of the process while they're taking your stuff. So you need to challenge their jurisdiction to have the fraud based on their fraud. We got a lot of fraud. Okay, sorry, I'm getting a little carried away with the fraud. So when you have the attorney as the number one defendant, you're building your record in the court to show the judge is violating you, and you can sue him in federal court, and that's what we do. Now, the state citizenship. I have a document on my website, and I think I have it on sale price at just like $50. So the process for state citizenship generally is you have to send in this, you have to fill out this form and that you get at the post office or wherever, and then you have to send it in with the picture and all this stuff. And then you have to wait for them to send you back copies of everything. Now, the advantage of doing the process is that you get a card. You get a passport card that looks like a driver's license. It says that you're a state citizen of the Republic state of the states you were born in, and you can use that as your driver's license. I would, because if you do this correctly, when they run your driver's license, you're going to come back on the do not detain list. And if you're on the do not detain list, they're just going to they should just give you your stuff until you have a good day, unless you injure somebody. So that's the way that's supposed to go. And then you can use that picture of that along with your affidavit that you filed in your case to challenge the court's jurisdiction. Now, here's the thing with that. I created the one I created, and it's basically the same thing. It's just not on a form, and it doesn't cost you $200 and something, and you don't have to wait for it. So it's affidavit of state citizenship document. You fill it out, you have it signed and notarized, and you file it in the case to verify your state citizenship status. Now, remember, the corporate court does not have jurisdiction without an injured party. So this is a great issue to have on appeal or to have on the court record to be suing the judge with later on if the judge don't play ball like they're supposed to, which they're not. Now, remember, the goal here is to prove that you're not a U.S. citizen. A U.S. citizen is a citizen that's born in the federal government. No one can be a citizen of the federal government because nobody can be born in a fake corporation. There, I said it. It's true. If you break it down, I always tell people, I play football and I box. Those are two things that, I don't know, not smart people and not real smart people do. So I have to keep things simple, and that's keeping it simple. Nobody can be a citizen of the United States or federal government because nobody can be born in a fake corporation. Now, if you're from another country or another planet or whatever, you can change that document. Now, I have people call me all the time, well, I'm from Poland. It doesn't matter where you're from unless you are a U.S. citizen. Because remember, don't get stuck into all of the restrictions and stuff that they like you to believe so you can feel overwhelmed and like you don't have a chance. The hell with the restrictions, okay? Change the document to reflect where you're from. The goal here is to make sure that you can verify that you're not a U.S. citizen. So if you're from another planet, you still have rights as long as you're not a U.S. citizen. Once you become a U.S. citizen, you have no rights. So that's how I do that. Change the wording, you personalize it to fit your situation, and you sign and notarize it. Once it's signed and notarized, then it's considered to be in common law. So they have to, if they want to challenge it by counter affidavit. and they can't because everything they're doing is fraud. So that's how you want to handle that. Now, the U.S. citizen is a play on words. That's all it is, a play on words. And they use it to trick people into believing that they have to pay taxes and that they have to do all of this stuff because you're a U.S. citizen. And some people fall for it and say, "Oh yeah, I have to help build the roads and have to, No, that's not what this. You are not a U.S. citizen. You're a citizen of the United States of America, or one of the states that you were born in the United States of America, or some other place or another planet. I know for a fact that you're not a citizen of the federal government. So you're not subject to all of that stuff that they try to stick in your face. The U.S. citizenship is a play on words. And I'll tell you, my YouTube channel recently got monetized. So they sent me a bunch of paperwork to fill out. So I'm filling out this paperwork, and wife's like, "So what are you going to do about your taxes?" So what taxes? I'm not a citizen of the U.S. government, so I don't have to pay taxes. So, well, we'll just see. So I'm filling paperwork. Well, one of the questions to ask you in the paperwork is, are you a U.S. citizen? No, not a U.S. citizen. There, that first one was easy. No. The next question is, if you're not a U.S. citizen, you will need to sign this affidavit stating that you don't use any internet service or any products or any labor in the U.S. and that you don't have any stuff that you're going to use them for your business. You don't have any property in the U.S. And like, no, I don't have any property. The U.S. is Washington, D.C. Okay, that's the U.S. That's Washington, D.C. It's not the state of Kansas where I live at. And my address reflects all zeros for the zip code, which means to them that this is where I receive my mail. This is not my residence. This is where I receive my mail. And that makes a big difference in stuff. So the YouTube thing goes in and then they ask you these slick questions. Do you have property? Most people, oh yeah, I'm going to be using internet in the US. No, you're not. You're not going to be using internet unless you live in Washington, D.C. So I checked no to all that crap. And then my wife said, "So did they let you?" Yeah, they let me pass. And if they got a problem, they can come and talk to me about it, because I have my passport card that shows that I'm a state citizen of the Republic State of Arizona, where I was born. And I think that's making it a little bit difficult for them to harass me too, because I don't mind sticking it out there in their face. On this video, down in the comment section, I'm going to leave a link to my affidavit of state citizenship document. And there's also a video on my channel, how to get on the do not detain list. And that video covers, that's actually how I learned how to do this. So you're kind of on your own on this. You go by the video, and I actually have a PDF document that actually explains things in great depth, more than the video does. So if you're interested in that, you can send me an email. If you invest in the package, you can send me an email and I'll shoot that over to you. So just wanted to share that. Oh, you guys, please make sure you subscribe and ring that bell and leave some comments so YouTube will know that y'all find value in what I'm doing up in here.